So from novelty bag charms, excess pins and DIY bows, the past 2 years has seen the explosion of the accessorized accessories trend in fashion. It's everything from vintage to Labubu keychains, Sony Angel phone charms and custom pins on sneakers. This once niche micro trend is now at the forefront of mainstream fashion. But what I want to talk about today is this trend just peaking, or will it evolve into something new? And will hyper-personalized fashion burn out or just shift into a new form? So hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're doing so well as always. If you've been here before, then you know that we talk about all things fashion, culture and trends, and today is basically a deep dive into the chaotic charm era that we're currently in fashion. And I kind of want to talk about what is going to come next for this trend and how we can expect to see it evolve. So with that, let's just get straight into it. So to start off this video, I do want to start with a basic explanation of what hyper customization is in a fashion context, and particularly what this means when we're thinking about the current era and the current trend of what we're seeing in fashion today. So you could say that hyper customization is the extreme personalization of fashion, where your bag, your sneakers, your jacket, even your sunglasses or eyewear isn't just worn but decorated and layered. It's effectively any item that's overloaded with charms, pins, plushies or patches, and all of these things are meant to express you. And WGSN actually coined the term chaotic customization back in 2024, and in this Vogue article by Amy Francombe, she basically describes that this trend and this movement is kind of an act of rebellion against fast fashion. So it's kind of a backlash against how fast fashion really flattens identity, and people are really craving uniqueness again, and something emotional, something real, and something personal. But even though the way that we're seeing hyper-personalization come to life today through the really fresh accessorized accessories trend, it actually isn't a new thing at all. It's been around for years and years in the fashion industry. So if you just think of Nike by You, which originally was called Nike ID, this was actually launched in the late 90s, and it let customers create their own sneakers by choosing the colors of very iconic silhouettes. And this is just one of the first examples that comes to my mind of mass hyper customization in fashion. But to be honest, there are literally countless examples of brands offering this kind of experience. So you can think of the Ralph Lauren polo embroidery example, or it's definitely also worth noting that Louis Vuitton and Hermes have been offering bag charms since literally the 90s. So this just shows that hyper personalization and customization has been around in the industry for a long time, but it's just got a lot wilder in recent years and months. And this is really where it gets interesting when considering how this trend has blown up so much in recent months. So really this started, and the accessorizing your accessories trend started in kind of early 2024. So I personally first saw it being spoken about from the niche micro influencer Susie Lola, who I'm sure you all watch on YouTube and all love as well. And I first saw her doing this accessorizing your bag through charms and different keychains, and she would add kind of Miffy charms to her bag or different vintage pins that she'd collected on holiday. And initially that is what this micro trend was all about. And what's really interesting is that a senior editor from Edited also agrees that this trend was really fueled by TikTokers. So it said that the Jane Birkin bag post content was hitting really high numbers. I think it was something like 122 million posts at this time. And also on Pinterest, the searches for bag charms went up by 274%. So this is really when this trend started to blow up even more, and industry professionals and trend forecasters really started to recognize it. And again, when considering bag charms specifically, it's also worth noting luxury fashion's involvement in pushing this trend. So by late 2024 and early 2025, we saw Coach, Balenciaga, Tory Burch and Erdem, and of course Miu Miu all really embrace charms on the runway. And in terms of specific products, I think if you just look at this mini Balenciaga City bag with the charms, or if you look at the Rodeo Balenciaga bag with the charms as well, these products really highlight how the overloaded charms and accessorized accessories trend had really gone mainstream, because now consumers could literally buy a pre-made personalized bag and a pre-charmed bag in a way. So it was this whole new era for the trend. And then of course, following this time and what came after the release of these pre-made personalized luxury products was the collision of streetwear and also collector culture come into this trend. So of course, in recent months we have seen the absolute explosion of things like Labubus or Sony Angels, and these basically started as niche art toys, but recently we've seen them absolutely explode as fashion accessories. And I really think that this explosion of things like Labubus have really signaled a whole new era for the customization trend, and it's kind of made it go even more mainstream in my opinion as well. But the big question of course is, when does this trend tip over, and when does hyper personalization or charm overload really become too much? Well, to be honest, the truth is that we are already seeing it become too much, and we are already starting to see people talk about the fact that this trend has already lost its kind of more authentic roots. And even this Culted article from 2024 ends by asking if we're already overdoing the bag charm trend. And to be honest, there are literally countless examples online saying that although this trend started as a way to make your accessories more original and personalized, luxury and also fast fashion have already commercialized this into a new revenue vehicle. And this basically means that slowly but surely it has strayed away from the original intention or point of the trend. So with all of this, what does come next? And does this mean that the bag charm trend is now over? So to be honest, in my personal opinion, I think no, the bag charm trend isn't over. And the first very basic answer to why that is the fact that we are still in the depths of this trend. So it's really been trending for the past year and it shows no signs of slowing down. And I do think we are going to see a few more waves of iterations of bag charms and how this trend comes to life in the coming months. And more specifically, when looking at the fashion industry overall, we are always going to see hyper personalization and co-creation tactics from brands, because if you go back to what I said at the start, this kind of idea of offering ways to personalize products has been around in the industry for literally years, and this tactic is too good to ever stop, and brands are always going to come up with new ways to offer this to consumers. And to be honest, we are already seeing some new expressions of this trend, and the first one that I'm thinking of is the Peachy Den activation, and I believe that they were doing this upcycling doily workshop. And I did also see another brand that I haven't heard of before. I can't actually pronounce the name, but I'll put it on screen. And this is a French menswear label, and they really iterate the design and the curation with their consumers, and in that way it is offering a new kind of personalized experience for their customers. And another kind of mass market example or brand example that I've seen is through the US brand Kicks with a Twist. And Kicks with a Twist have recently been hosting in-person sneaker customization workshops. So basically consumers show up with their own sneakers, or they buy a blank pair and then they can customize them in different ways, and then they walk out with their very own one-of-one customized sneakers. And obviously this isn't a new concept, and there are so many big brands, so many big sports brands that do this, but it's just this kind of idea that there are many ways and many tactics that customization customization, hyper-personalization can come to life, and I do think following this crazy trend of the charm overload, we are going to see a load of new iterations of this from brands, and it will be really exciting to see how it does manifest and what aspects of it does go viral and trend, just like the bag charms have. Also, just on a more individual level, I do think that people who are into fashion and who want to create very unique outfits will always find a way to make their outfit personalized, even if it isn't through bag charms. So again, thinking of people like Susie Lola, who I really think championed this trend in the first place, she will probably find a new way to customize her outfit, do it in a really unique and authentic way, and this will just always be a thing because some people will just always want a super unique outfit and their creativity will really shine through. So this could come to life in literally any way, but potentially just speculating off the top of my head, maybe we'll see people customize different kind of silhouettes of their outfits. So we could see people really delve into customizing jackets or even customizing eyewear as well. I think that would be really cool, but to be honest, only time will tell. And like I said, we are still really in the depths of the accessorized accessories trend, so it could take form in many ways. So to wrap everything up, we can definitely assume that the hyper personalization trend isn't going anywhere, but the way that it is expressed will definitely change. So yes, the Labubu trend and craze will probably fade, but personalization is definitely a timeless concept. So as always, I really hope you enjoyed this video. I would love to hear your thoughts about all of this. If you're still loving bag charms, if you're sick of them, or if you're seeing any new ways that hyper personalization or customization is cropping up, or how you're embracing it in your personal wardrobe as well, I would absolutely love to hear about that. So if you want to, definitely subscribe to the channel, definitely leave a comment, like this video, and until the next one, I hope you have an amazing day. Bye!